What if I told you that the WNBA is systematically destroying the one player who could save their entire league? Today we're diving deep into the Caitlin Clark controversy that's exposing everything wrong with women's professional basketball. From brutal targeting to shocking financial realities, this story reveals why the WNBA might be its own worst enemy. Welcome back to the channel, sports fans. I'm your host. And if you're tired of the sugar-coated narratives surrounding women's basketball, you've come to the right place. Before we expose these uncomfortable truths about the WNBA and Caitlin Clark, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because today's breakdown is going to challenge everything you think you know about professional sports economics and athlete treatment. The financial reality check. Let's start with the elephant in the room that nobody wants to discuss. The WNBA's financial situation is catastrophic. While players are literally wearing shirts demanding, "Pay us what you owe us," the harsh reality is that the league loses approximately $50 million every single year. Think about the mathematical impossibility of this demand. When a business consistently operates at a massive loss, subsidized entirely by the NBA, how can players demand higher salaries? It's like employees at a failing restaurant demanding raises while the establishment burns through investor money just to keep the lights on. The recent historic salary increase of $20 per player perfectly illustrates this absurdity. Calling a $20 raise historic isn't progress. It's a testament to how far the league is from financial sustainability. After nearly 3 decades of operation, the WNBA has never achieved profitability, never built a sustainable fan base, and never created the revenue streams necessary to justify significant salary increases. This isn't about gender equality or respect for female athletes. It's about basic economics. Professional sports salaries are tied directly to revenue generation. The NBA pays massive salaries because it generates billions in revenue through ticket sales, merchandise, broadcasting rights, and sponsorships. The WNBA, despite decades of marketing campaigns and media promotion, has failed to create organic demand for its product. The attendance crisis. The most damning evidence of the WNBA's struggle isn't found in financial reports. It's visible in every arena they play in. Empty seats tell a story that no amount of promotional material can overcome. The WNBA consistently fails to generate this fundamental element of sports entertainment. Consider the psychological impact on players, broadcasters, and viewers. Empty arenas create dead air that kills the perception of importance. When attendance numbers consistently lag behind minor league baseball or high school tournaments, it signals a structural problem that goes beyond marketing or promotion. The WNBA has had nearly 30 years to build a loyal fan base, create compelling rivalries, and inspire the kind of tribal loyalty that drives successful sports leagues. Yet it remains stagnant, dependent on subsidies rather than thriving on genuine fan support. The Caitlin Clark phenomenon. Enter Caitlin Clark, the most significant thing to happen to the WNBA in its entire history. Her arrival should have been celebrated as a turning point, a generational talent who could finally bridge the gap between the league and mainstream sports culture. Instead, her presence has exposed the toxic underbelly of women's professional basketball. Clark brings something the WNBA has desperately needed: organic fan interest. Her college career at Iowa generated genuine excitement, broke viewership records, and created cultural moments that transcended women's basketball. She represents the kind of transcendent star that the NBA found in Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and Michael Jordan. But instead of embracing this gift, the league has allowed Clark to become a target for systematic harassment and physical assault. The statistics are shocking: 30 flagrant fouls in a single rookie season. This isn't coincidence or aggressive defense. It's calculated targeting of the league's most valuable asset. The targeting campaign. The treatment of Caitlin Clark reveals something deeply disturbing about the WNBA's competitive culture. When 4 of the last 5 flagrant fouls against her came from a single team, the Chicago Sky, We're not looking at basketball competition. We're witnessing a coordinated campaign of intimidation. These aren't basketball plays gone wrong. They're deliberate attempts to physically and psychologically break down the player who represents the league's best hope for relevance. Players are literally charging at Clark like predators, throwing unnecessary contact and creating viral moments for all the wrong reasons. The symbolism is devastating. Instead of showcasing the skill and athleticism that could attract new fans, WNBA highlights consistently feature Clark being assaulted on the court. This sends a terrible message to potential viewers. The league tolerates unprofessional behavior and fails to protect its stars. The jealousy factor. The root cause of Clark's treatment isn't complicated. It's jealousy in its purest form. Players who have labored in obscurity for years watch a rookie command more attention in months than they've received in their entire careers. Instead of recognizing Clark as the rising tide that could lift all boats, they resent her success and attempt to diminish it through aggression. This jealousy is particularly destructive because it blinds these players to an obvious truth. Caitlin Clark's success benefits everyone in the league. When Clark plays, television ratings spike. When she's featured in games, attendance increases. Her presence expands the WNBA's audience beyond its traditional base, creating opportunities for all players to gain exposure and financial benefit. This creates a toxic environment where success is punished rather than rewarded. The uncomfortable racial dynamic. While jealousy represents the primary motivation behind Clark's treatment, there's an uncomfortable racial undertone that cannot be ignored. Clark's meteoric rise as a young white player in a predominantly black league has created complex dynamics that manifest in various ways. Her endorsement deals, media coverage, and fan following highlight disparities that some players and observers find problematic. The resentment isn't just about individual success. It's about which types of players receive mainstream attention and financial rewards. This racial tension adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. Rather than addressing these dynamics constructively, the league has allowed them to fester, contributing to the hostile environment that Clark faces nightly. The referee failure. Perhaps most damaging to the WNBA's credibility is the consistent failure of referees to protect Caitlin Clark. When officials repeatedly classify obvious flagrant fouls as common fouls, only to have the league office upgrade them later, it reveals a system that cannot handle its most important moments in real time. This refereeing incompetence creates dangerous precedents. Players learn that they can target Clark without immediate consequences, emboldening further aggressive behavior. The after-the-fact corrections by the league office feel more like damage control than genuine justice. Professional sports leagues succeed when they protect their stars and maintain competitive integrity. The WNBA's failure to do either sends a clear message: politics and personal grievances matter more than player safety and product quality. The spectacle over sport problem. The most troubling aspect of the WNBA's current state is that people aren't watching for basketball excellence. They're watching for drama and controversy. Fans tune in to see what happens to Caitlin Clark, not because they're invested in the sport itself. This represents a fundamental failure of sports entertainment. When your league's biggest attractions are confrontations, hard fouls, and off-court drama rather than athletic achievement, you've lost the essence of what makes sports compelling. The WNBA has essentially become reality television disguised as professional basketball. While this might generate short-term attention, it's not sustainable for building long-term fan loyalty or respect for the sport. The missed opportunity. The tragedy of the Caitlin Clark situation is the massive opportunity being squandered. She represents everything the WNBA has claimed to want: a skilled, marketable, exciting player who can attract mainstream attention and expand the sport's reach. Instead of building the league around her success, protecting her from harassment, and using her platform to elevate women's basketball, the WNBA has allowed petty jealousies and toxic dynamics to undermine its greatest asset. This failure of leadership and vision suggests fundamental problems within the league's culture and management. When you can't protect and promote your most valuable commodity, it raises serious questions about organizational competence. The long-term implications. The current trajectory of the WNBA and its treatment of Caitlin Clark has serious long-term implications. If the league continues allowing systematic targeting of its biggest star, it sends a clear message to future talent. Excellence will be punished rather than rewarded. Why would the next generation of elite female basketball players choose the WNBA if they know they'll face harassment, jealousy, and inadequate protection? The league risks creating a culture that actively discourages the kind of transcendent talent it desperately needs. Moreover, the financial realities haven't improved, despite Clark's presence. While her games generate higher ratings and attendance, the underlying structural problems persist. The league remains dependent on NBA subsidies and lacks the sustainable revenue model necessary for long-term viability. What do you think about the WNBA's handling of the Caitlin Clark situation? Is the league sabotaging its own future, or are these just growing pains of a sport finding its identity? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't hold back, because this topic clearly brings out strong opinions from everyone involved. If this analysis opened your eyes to the complex dynamics within women's professional basketball, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed because we'll continue following this story as it develops. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most important sports stories happen away from the scoreboard.